So there's this kinship I felt growing up with these writers, these creative, I'll just call them creative people collectively. And as a child, I didn't have all these pressures and disappointments and failures in life. Um, I was just very creative. Sometime I want to get into that. I have I had started voluntarily started therapy in 2020, and then the end of 2019, somewhere in there, um, when things had settled down. Um, because I figured it's about time I would call up a friend. I was still bothered by the experience with the girl in senior year of high school, and it bothered me very much. And I wanted answers, and I couldn't. I felt so frustrated. I couldn't get answers, and um, that and some other things. I would call former classmates and people in my past, and there's been a friend I met in '93. He's much older. He's retired now, but he's kind of like an older brother slash father figure. I looked over. There's a window there. It just looked like somebody was peeking in. It's weird. Um, at least there'd be somebody I know watching this video. Um, so I it would be like pulling teeth. I was trying to talk with him. I was talking to I wanted somebody to talk things over with, and so that didn't really help. And he he would say the usual thing like, "Well, I don't have much time, but here I'm outside in the yard mowing the lawn or fixing something or other. But if you want to talk, I can talk for a few minutes." That's usually way, and that's not really helpful. So I figured 2020 I had started as a temp because I took a civil service test. I I started working at Hutching Psychiatric Center, the children's outpatient clinic, as an assistant, well, office paper worker person. Basically, it's a combination of receptionist and scheduler and paper filer and so forth, doing a lot of the paperwork. I was very good at my job. Um, but the reason I'm not working, I worked there for about 2 years, something like that. But I took a civil service test in order to get that, well, and which got me that job as a temp. Um, it was for Office Assistant 1 keyboarding, and then at some point they were looking to fill it with an Office Assistant 1, not keyboarding, which means technically I took a different test for Office Assistant 1, but it's the same job title, and I took a keyboarding test. So it seems in some sense like I was overqualified, and they all really liked me, and they wished I could be able to stay, but I didn't qualify, so gone. I've gone through experiences like that, and that kind of dovetails into being envious of celebrities who have been able to make it. And I think of Madonna going with like $30 in her pocket or something or other. She's very brave. She went to New York. She went from Michigan to New York City and just started somewhere. I think of that, and I've thought of that, and I've thought, well, there are a lot of people who have done that and not become famous. She just happened to be one of the ones that did become famous, so we recognize her, and we don't even know about these other people who failed at it. And I tend to be a cautious person, and I don't I wouldn't want to be one of the failures because I want to live a fulfilling, happy life. um, anyway, so there are some I just felt a kinship to, particularly Steven Spielberg, just creative types in general. Um, and that goes along, and here I'm in upstate, well, central New York. If you take the state itself, right smack dab in the center, aside from New York City, aside from that Long Island bit at the bottom of the city, at the bottom of the state, the center of the state itself, the state proper, that's where Central New York is. That's where I am. So I'm all the way over there, and like everything else is happening in California. It's like in Star Wars, Luke says where he is. If you can imagine the bright spot in the universe, I'm in the darkest region from it. It's like that funny map where it has everything is over here. I have a camera on me, I might as well be visual. Everything is over here, and you're over here. It's like a joke. So I felt that way for quite a while, and I wanted to break through. And I felt frustrated over time. And that's like with women in general in relationships. I found women appreciate me and they like me, and I'm a happy person to be with and jovial, and I hope it comes through in the videos. But I tried to get out of that dark feeling I felt, empty feeling I felt at the end of high school graduation, in terms of that high school girl, by reaching out to people from my past. Like I went to a trip to Israel, and I still had that list of the different people and the phone numbers, so I kept in touch with them. And I wished I had a girlfriend. I've never had a girlfriend. I went to something called Lunch Appeals. I still have the business card. That's how I remember it. And I met with somebody who was a director or I'll just say director, arranger. I met with somebody to apply and set up to get like 3 dates, something like, you get the idea. And that didn't work out. I don't think I got any dates out of that. I think the company's out of business now. And I tried online. I tried OkCupid, and I was kind of cheap. I didn't spend a lot of money. Some Jewish website, some Jewish dating sites and some non-Jewish dating sites. And the majority of them were in New York City. Like I wanted somebody Jewish because I think there's something in common. I date in order to find someone I'm going to marry, or, I didn't want to fool anybody. I figured if things became serious, I didn't want to be stuck in a position where I would say, well, you're not Jewish, or this can't work. I didn't want to get into that. So I figured right away I would start by dating people who were Jewish. And I would extend it to like 800 miles, the range to like 600 miles or 500 miles or whatever. And the hits that would pop up in terms of matches were like in New York City, New Rochelle, Bronx, Queens, Islip, Central Islip, however you pronounce it, and so forth. None here. And it bothered me. I kept trying, and I would try and get the best photos posted as I could. And when I'd go to them, and I'd go to profiles that actually had common matches, like common things you like or common interests, or there was a percentage of matching percentage. I'd go through that, and I'd actually spend time writing things, messages to them, saying something about what they wrote, not just pretty picture or you up for a date or something. Because I'm sympathetic, I'm conscientious, and I'm deep, and I think in terms of I care about the other person I'm writing to. So I hardly got anything back. Maybe once out of a fluke thing, maybe one reply back, and even then that would say just, well, she's not interested because there's too much of a geographic distance between us. So it's really bothered me. So and I was living with my mom for a long time until she died in 2018. So I was she was depending on me in some sense, and she actually had some things going on with her that I'm glad in retrospect. I'm glad that for her health, mental and physical health, that I stayed around for her and she could rely on me as much as I was relying on her for things. It was a mutual support system. Um, so that's left me now at approaching 47. I'll be 47 this November 14th, and I've never kissed a girl. I've never gone on a date. Well, I went on one date, sort of. Uh, I won tickets to some play, I think, and then so that friend that I told you about, he would be mowing his lawn and he could talk to me for a few minutes, could listen to me for a few minutes. His cousin, I think, went with me no, it was that was a different experience. No, I guess maybe two dates, sort of. No, this other one was a roommate. I don't know how I hooked up with this person. I won tickets to, I think, the one was Spaghetti Warehouse. This one was a play somewhere. So I got tickets, and so it was I don't remember how, but a roommate of hers, maybe it was one of those desperate times where I was going through my high school yearbook, and I just called up, and that's how desperate I was. Called up former girls from school, and I think I remember one of them having a roommate, and I remember, well, all right, Danica was the name of the person, I think from high school, and then her roommate in college went with me. I don't know how she felt about it. I guess from my point of view, it was nice because at least it was somebody who was willing to go with me. But it's kind of sad. I think of myself as I don't think I'll ever find anybody. So I've been talking for quite a while. So maybe I'll just stop it at this point. And I produced. Wow, today I created an intro video, and this will be my 6th video created in just in a couple of hours, something like that. So I'll just stop right here.